I'm Judge Faith Jenkins, and this is Divorce Court. All kinds of couples with problems come to me for advice.
Can I be in a relationship with someone that I really don't trust? Trust is lost in buckets and gained in drops.
Others need a lighter touch.
It's only been 3 years. You've been back together 7 hours and 12 minutes. I hope you can make it to dinner.
But most people just need some of my tough love.
You're problematic on many levels. You know nothing about commitment, monogamy, integrity, and loyalty.
Now, join me in Divorce Court for today's case.
She says this relationship has been filled with lies and deceit, and she is at the end of her rope. They both want to get married, but realize trust is their biggest issue. Can this couple save their relationship? That's today's case on Divorce Court.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have a virtual audience and it's filled with your super fans. Today's super fan of the day is Destiny, coming from Jackson, Michigan.
Destiny, we're so happy to have you with us. Welcome to Divorce Court.
Your Honor, this is the case of Simpson versus Anderson.
Thank you, Juan. I assume you are Mr. Anderson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You realize when you came here today, you were coming to court and not a punk rock concert,
I absolutely
correct?
do, yes.
Okay, so do you think this hairstyle is appropriate for you to be here today?
This is how I am all the time, so yes, I absolutely do, Your Honor.
Okay, well,
I mean no disrespect.
I just find this an interesting choice that you made and how you want to present yourself when you come in this courtroom. Ms. Simpson?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
have brought Mr. Anderson to divorce court. The two of you have been in a relationship for the last 2 years. You say you are having a number of problems.
Yes.
And you don't know if this relationship can move forward. The two of you are here to see if you can work it out
Yes.
or if you should go your separate ways. Okay, I'll hear from you first, Ms. Simpson.
Well, Your Honor, I'm here today because my boyfriend has stolen from me. He's developed a gambling addiction. He's gotten involved in drugs. We've been together for a while now, and it was really great in the beginning. I mean, love at first sight for me. We had a real connection, but I'm really wondering now if I should stay or if this is gonna be it.
And what do you have to say, Mr. Anderson?
Your Honor, I am here to absolve myself of any accusations of theft, because that's just ridiculous. I'm also here because I do truly love Taren, and I want to make this work, and I want to show her that I am the man that she met in the first place, and that we can do this. We can work this out.
One of the reasons you're in court is because you're suing for $3,700 in stolen money and missing tools. And I understand you say you have a defense to that.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about some of the relationship issues you say the two of you have had. How did you meet, and when did the two of you get involved?
We met through an online dating site. Things were going really good. We were talking online for a week or two, and then we finally met. He doesn't have a job, and he didn't when we met, but it was kind of agreed upon that he would get one.
And so what happened? Did you end up finding work, sir, at some point?
Yeah, actually, I have been a handyman for quite some time throughout the tenure of our relationship. At first, it was a little slow going because I was getting my book of business and all that good stuff. I've been a musician for a long time, hence the hair, but COVID kind of really put a damper in that, so I wasn't really able to go out and perform and do the things that I was used to doing. We never had an agreement for anything whenever I was moving in. That was just, yeah, I mean, we never talked about anything like that at all.
Have you been contributing to the expenses of the household?
When I can, absolutely, yeah.
How often is that?
Probably, once a month or so, I'll get us groceries and everything like that. And
Once a month you get groceries? That's
yeah,
it?
just about. I mean, I help put gas in the car when I can and different things. I've been waiting for my unemployment to come in for quite some time now, and I'm having a lot of hiccups with that, so.
Okay, but the two of you have been living together for almost 2 years.
Yes.
You would agree that your expenses entail more than groceries and gas once a month?
Probably, yeah.
Obviously, that's an issue in the relationship, but there are other issues. What happened with the incident with the police?
We had gotten into an argument earlier in the afternoon about him stealing money from me. He had worked a handyman job, and I told him that I needed some space. We had dinner, and then we had agreed to go to bed together because it was getting late and I had to work the next morning. Next thing I know, I was going into the bedroom and he grabbed his backpack and just walked out the front door. Didn't say a word, nothing. It was kind of like my last straw. So I locked the door and I sent him a message saying to not come back tonight. He could come back tomorrow morning before I left for work or after I left for work and get his things or whatever he needed. And he was not having that at all. He demanded that he was going to come back and...
well, he came back to the house?
Yes, and he still came back to the house.
What do you say happened?
This is a little bit ridiculous. So after her treating me poorly all day, I did do a job. She told me she needed her space, so I came home and I did cook dinner for us. We went our separate ways. Then after treating me poorly all day, she then comes into the bedroom, asks me to go to bed with her, which I was a little frustrated by. So I was like, no, I'm gonna go get some froyo that's in the fridge. So I went out there and my friend called me and said he needed help with his car. So without any personal belongings of my own, I left to go help him with his vehicle. She, at that point, then threatened me and told me I couldn't come home. Well, I don't have anything. I didn't have my jacket. I didn't have money. I had nothing on me. It was 25 degrees outside. So my friend gives me a ride home after we fix his car, and then I see all these cop cars in front of the house, and I am just like, what is going on here? So I called her multiple times trying to figure out what is going on, and I actually got a telecommunications harassment warrant because of that night. And
Because you were calling so many times?
I was trying to figure out what was going on. I had no idea. I didn't have my things on me, and she left me for dead in the cold, Your Honor, with no food, no money, no jacket, nothing of my personal belongings. I took nothing with me that evening.
After finding
And so
out
you
he
left
had
the
been
house in
sick.
25-degree weather without a coat, a jacket, or anything?
My friend needed me to go help him, so he was right there. So I just called a lift and got in the lift and left.
And why didn't you just put a bag outside so he could at least have his things?
Because he demanded I didn't do that.
But other issues start happening. You say they're much more serious. What happened? What did you discover?
I was cleaning my house. I found him passed out on my couch with a syringe on the floor next to him. I knew at this point it was either drugs or me.
So
She's
when
like-
do you let him back into the house?
No.
It would have been a couple days later after I had cooled down and I wasn't as angry.
It was when I needed to get to an AA
And you called the
meeting.
police because what? Because he was
Because-
calling you so much?
Yeah, he was calling so much and he was demanding that I couldn't keep him out of the house and that I had no right to kick him out.
So you called the police. I'm trying to understand why you called the police. Were you scared? Or what are you saying?
I was fearful that I didn't know what he was going to do because he wouldn't leave me alone. It is my household. It has always been my household.
But he actually lives there.
Yeah,
so
I got mail
when
there.
you actually move someone in, even though it's your home that you say you have, he now under the law has a right to be there because it's now his home
Thank
as
you.
well.
Well, I wasn't trying to fully kick him out. I just wanted him to go somewhere for a night or two so I could cool off because I didn't want to say something that I was going to regret.
She lied to the cops out of spite, Your Honor. I've never been aggressive with a woman in my life. I have never, ever raised my hands in anger at a woman. It's something I'm very proud of, in fact. And for her to call the cops and say, oh, I don't know what he's capable of, or to act like she's scared of me in any fashion, that is really
Well, he agreed
offensive
to not do
me.
drugs in my home, too.
Well, that's a totally different issue, and we can talk about that. But the night that the police were called, it sounds like you were using the police that night as the way to keep him out. But now you say the two of you reconcile,
Yeah.
but other issues start happening. You say they're much more serious. What happened? What did you discover?
I was cleaning my house and I found a broken syringe in my couch, buried inside the cushion. And that's how I knew he was doing drugs at that
What
point.
drugs?
I think it was meth, but I had found that. And then maybe not even a couple days later, maybe a week, I found him in the morning at 5 a.m. when I had to go to work, passed out, unresponsive on my couch with a syringe on the floor next to him. And I didn't really know what to do, and I was really scared of leaving him. But I knew at this point it was either drugs or me. And I made that very clear because I don't want to live with someone doing hardcore drugs.
And what did you do when you found him unresponsive?
I tried to wake him up, and he wouldn't do anything. He just kept shoving me away, but he wouldn't open his eyes or anything. And I ended up picking up the needle and I took it because I didn't want him to have it. And I threw it away. And I went to work and just worried the whole day of what I was going to come home to.
What's going on, Mr. Anderson?
So, yeah, being stuck in Kansas and kind of COVID being the way it was, and, you know, I'm still dealing with legal ramifications and traveling back and forth between Kansas and Colorado, I just developed it out of boredom. I really didn't have anything else to do, so, you know, idle hands are the devil's playthings, and that's just kind of what happened. It's not the best scenario to be a part of, but, you know, I'm doing the right things to clean my life up and get back on track, and that's all I can do.
So you started using, what was it, meth?
It was meth, yeah.
And then I woke up in the middle of the night and he's finally coming home and admitting to taking, I don't know, altogether it's probably about $6,000.
Do you have any proof?
Yes, he wrote me a written statement saying that he was going to pay back at least $3,000.
If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Miss the show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content.
How long were you on meth?
You know, probably just a couple of months really is when I kind of fell off the deep end. But, you know, whenever this kind of happened, it kind of put me right back in the right way.
And you say that he actually started stealing from you. He says that's not true. What do you say he was stealing?
Well, several things have come up missing, like the power tools. I found like all of my spare change in the house is gone, which he used for his gambling addiction, even though it was my money too. And
He has a gambling addiction as well?
yes, he did.
When do you say that started?
About a year into it. It would have been about the time of the drugs. Because we had gone once or twice together, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, and he was gone. My car was gone, and my debit card was gone. So I got on my banking site, and I looked, because I was like, well, my card was there when I went to bed. And I saw that there were several withdrawals from an ATM. And at that point, I put a lock on my card, and this is like 2 a.m. Next thing I know, it's maybe 4 a.m., and he's finally coming home and admitting to taking, I don't know, altogether it's probably about $6,000 that he owes me. And he broke down and started crying, and he put it off. Like, he came home and sat in the garage in my car for an hour before he came inside and stood up for himself.
So, Mr. Anderson, you took all of that money out of her account?
Absolutely not, no.
You did not?
We gambled a fair share of that together.
Okay.
We were together whenever we spent a lot of that money.
Okay.
And
that night, this specific night that she's talking about, did you leave and take her debit card without her
absolutely
permission?
not, no.
So you never used her debit card without her permission?
Absolutely not.
So this story that she's telling in court today is a complete lie?
Absolutely.
Do you have any proof?
Yes, he wrote me a written statement saying that he was going to pay back at least $3,000.
Let me see the written statement. Do you have it with you?
Yes.
Okay, did you wrote a statement, Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I thought you said you didn't owe any money.
we gambled that together.
Well, why are you writing a statement
Because I feel like it's the right thing to do.
But legally, you don't feel like you owe?
At
Yeah,
least
absolutely.
$3,000.
I, Nathan Anderson, of mind, body, and soul, do solemnly swear to pay Ms. Simpson no less than $3,000, either when I receive my unemployment or installments agreed upon by both parties. If I fail to uphold this, I will be subject to any and all legal ramifications.
Absolutely. And
here we are in court.
I have done more than paid my fair share of that back.
Do you have any proof that you've paid
Absolutely,
money back?
I do, yeah.
How much did you pay back?
At least $2,500.
Is that true?
If not more
He's
than
paid
that.
at least $2,000. But he also paid some of it back and then stole it to go gamble.
Okay. Juan, would you give her back this statement? Thank you.
And I really I don't want to marry a gambler. I don't want to marry a drug addict. I need to know that that stuff's done.
So you're saying after He agreed to pay some of it back. He paid some of it back, but then he stole it again.
Yeah.
And you believe it's because of his drug use and his
Or
gambling
his
addiction.
gambling addiction.
Are you still using drugs, sir?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Are you still gambling?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Well, I understand, Ms. Simpson, that as a part of this proceeding today, you asked that Mr. Anderson take a drug test.
Yes.
And you agreed to do that,
Yeah.
sir? I understand from Officer Bustamante that we do have the results of those tests here in court.
Cool.
Juan, can you get me the results?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Anderson, prior to coming to court today, you were tested for meth and additional hard drugs. According to the drug test, the results reveal you tested positive for marijuana, amphetamines, and meth in your system.
Wow.
So you're still using.
Okay. I mean, I just love Taren so much. Like, I just really want her in my life, and I want to do anything I can to prove to her that I am the man for you.
Sir, 5 minutes ago, you stood right there, you looked me in my eyes, and you lied to me
I haven't been
about
doing
your drug
that.
usage. Okay? So let's stop the lies.
All right.
You're still using, and I believe her testimony. Because you do understand, Mr. Anderson, that when I find out that you've lied to me and you've perjured yourself in court, it now makes me question everything else you said to me
I
today.
understand.
I don't want to marry a drug addict.
I agree.
I don't want to live that life.
Mr. Anderson, she's right. You've got to get your life together, and you have to get clean. It is not fair to her that you would ever ask her to marry you and move forward in this relationship when you haven't even been honest with yourself. I'm not saying people don't ever change, because people deserve chances, but it starts with you. And the chance you have to give to yourself and show her rather than tell her that you mean what you're saying. You're here before you make the lifelong commitment, as everyone says they do when they get married. Mr. Anderson, the court has resources we can offer you if you're willing to accept them.
Okay.
And I hope that you are. Because you are so drawn to these addictions that you're now stealing from the woman who you say you love, and you've got to get your life together. You're too young. I see people in this courtroom 20 years older than you, and they wish that they had the opportunity that you have right now to turn your life around at this point in your life. Now is the time.
Okay.
Ms. Simpson, every word that he said here today about how he loves you, about how he wants to change, you make him prove it.
Okay.
Not one more day in this relationship do you accept any words of promise. Actions only. You can watch him grow, watch him learn, watch him get better from a distance. Ms. Simpson, based on what you told me in court today, you're suing for $3,700. You said he's paid back $2,000. That's a remaining balance of $1,700. I'm going to order you to pay that balance, sir. Good luck to both of you. Thank you.
When the judge read the results, I was really overwhelmed. I was not expecting to hear that he was still using drugs. And it really hurts to know that he's still lying to me.
I wasn't honest with her because I was just scared I was going to lose her. That's really all there is to it.
Moving forward, I'm going to be very hesitant. Like she said, I'm going to judge him on his actions. I'm going to hold him to more than just his word.
Yeah, Judge Faith offered the court's help today, and I'm going to do everything I can to just make sure I stay on pace with that and take heed of it while I can before it's too late.